Hello YouTube, today's video I'm going to be helping you guys become better Call of Duty and Warzone players by supplying you with an in-depth controller guide. This video applies to PC users and console users, so don't worry. There's information for everyone to take on board. From overclocking your controller for less input lag, explaining in detail what settings actually do rather than just telling you this is the best setting, now go and use it. I'll also be giving you guys some tips to help you win more gunfights that have helped me over the years become the player that I am today. Now firstly, for some quick context, not to flex or anything like that, but I have achieved top 250 in Warzone multiple times, so you can trust that I am in fact a good player with the correct settings. Now firstly, before we open up the game, we'll cover how to overclock your controller so you receive less input lag on your controller. Now obviously this is for PC users only, so console players you may want to skip this part. Now that the console noobs are gone, let's get into it, my fellow PC master race. You will find a link in the description of my video down below here, and you guys are going to want to open it up, and it will lead you to a page that looks like this. Don't panic and think that this is going to be against the TOS of Call of Duty or Warzone, or that it's hacking. This is used by every pro player in the CDL and Warzone pros, so there's nothing to fear about being banned or anything like that. Now click on the hidasbf.zip file right here, and on this page now come to the right side and click on this download file button. You can save this file wherever you like, just somewhere that you will remember so you know where it is. Once you've downloaded the file, it will be named driver. Click on this, then click setup at the bottom here. It will now pop up with this page here. This might look confusing, but honestly don't worry, it's very simple. Click on the drop down menu here where it says mice and change it to all. Look through the list here for your controller. It usually is at the bottom and it will say wireless controller. Once you've found that, click it once and then click install service once. Now again, with the controller highlighted here, now tick the box where it says filter on device. Then change the default rate to 1000 if you're on PS4 DualShock controller. Or if you have a PS5 DualSense controller, there will be an option for 8000. Select the according rate and again click install service. Once you've done that, you can now unplug your controller real quick and then plug it back in, and you will now know if you've done it correctly if it says yes 1000 if you're on PS4 or yes 8000 if PS5. And also this buy interval will now be 1. Congrats, you now have no input lag on your controller. Huge thank you to NoLagVPN for sponsoring this video. There is currently a 67% sale right now with the Black Ops 6 release. There is also a 7-day money back guarantee if you are not happy. This works in the new Black Ops 6 to help you have the smoothest connection and to help get easier bot lobbies. NoLagVPN is so easy to install by heading over to the link in the description to give it a try. Now let's load up the game, and before we get into the in-game settings here, I'm going to explain a hugely important tip for winning more gunfights: rotational aim assist. I see so many players who are perhaps not as well versed as others making the same but huge mistake that is rotational aim assist and not taking advantage of it. Now I'll show in the firing range what this is exactly, and as you can see here, I am not moving my right thumbstick at all. And you might be wondering, well, how are you staying on the target? This is because I'm moving my left thumbstick in a circular motion. Aim assist is so strong in Call of Duty that if you combine this with your right thumbstick, it'll make you look like you straight up have hacks. So get in the habit, guys, to always, when you're in a gunfight, be on the move with your left thumbstick. Do not just stand still and aim. Now on to another big one, and this is dead zones. Call of Duty added this feature in the menus here to test your own dead zone in the menu. But you might be wondering what it even means. Dead zone is completely different for each controller, as each controller has more or less stick drift than others. Keep it simple, the lower you set your dead zone, the more sensitive the stick and more aim assist that you will have. For the left max, we lower this to 75, so it takes less movement and less input for us to get into a tactical sprint, so that helps with movement. For both triggers, we play on 1 and 1, so there's next to no delay when aiming and shooting. You want to keep the left and right stick minimum as close to 1 as you possibly can so that you don't have any input delay. The higher you increase these two numbers, the more heavier that your sticks will feel. Now if you have bad stick drift, it might be impossible to play on a number as low as 1, but here is how you can test it. As you guys can see here, when I click test stick dead zone, I have slight stick drift, but as we just mentioned about rotational aim assist, this will actually help us without even moving. Now you don't want that stick drift too high, but if it's as low as mine is right here, then it's perfect. To test your dead zones, guys, make sure you lower the number to 0 and gradually increase by 1 each time until there is only slight stick drift or none at all. That is how you find your dead zones. Now for stick sensitivity. There's a common misconception around sensitivity in Call of Duty, where a lot of people might think that the higher you play, the better the player. This is completely false and simply not true. It is in fact the opposite. Most CDL pros or Warzone pros play no higher than 7.7, and that is for one reason. You get more aim assist the lower that your sensitivity is. Most of the actual good players in Warzone and Call of Duty will play anywhere from 5.5 up to 7.7. As you guys can see here, when I'm spinning around, my aim assist is actually so strong on these target dummies, and that is because I am on 5.5 sensitivity. ADS sensitivity multiplier, for this you never want to set this higher than 1, only lower it, and I highly advise you to do it as well, as it will make your aim while ADS'd a lot more accurate. You don't want to go too low though. I advise no lower than 0.80, as you won't be able to keep up with moving targets if it's too low. The best curve response type is dynamic. This is what most pros use, and here's why. Default is what it's set to by default, and what that does is it makes your aim begin slow and gradually and progressively speed up the more that you push your analog stick to the outer edges. So it begins slow and it gets faster, whereas dynamic does the opposite. It begins snappier and gradually slows down towards the outer edges, allowing for you to be more snappy with your aim and more precise. Make sure tactical sprint is enabled here, and importantly under show more here, make sure the assist delay is set to 1. There was a glitch where 0 wasn't functioning correctly, so 1 is the best choice. Slide and dive behaviour, you want to set this to hybrid. This is a new popular setting that they added in Warzone 3, and all of the CDL pros use hybrid, as this allows you to have dive and slide on separate inputs. What that does is makes the input lag on the sliding and diving as low as it possibly can be, so it's more responsive and it feels less sluggish. Important tip here though, where it says show more, you want to change the behaviour firstly to tap to slide and change this to short, as it is locked when hybrid is selected. Once you've done that, switch back to hybrid and it should stay on short. Another couple of important settings under combat advanced settings here is interact/reload behaviour. You want to set this to prioritise interact so that you can loot 10 times quicker with a single button press rather than holding it down to loot one single item. Also, make sure sprint cancel reload is set to off. This was turned on with the new Warzone integration in Black Ops 6 for some reason, but if you're wondering why you can't reload while sprinting, this may be why. Now I'm going to scroll through my settings overall, and you guys can copy them all at your own pace by pausing or slowing the video down. Hope these tips and settings help, guys. Remember to subscribe to the channel, leave a thumbs up on the video as it helps me a lot, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.